Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Prize, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is my report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Atticus Viz, Del Borovic as Morgan Rolls, and Josh Halbot as Gideon Vega. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band are facing an orc army inside the palace. Valentyne opened the gate and declared Pandora a demon of surrender before the party banished her, and Gideon used Trin Rakai's soul to heal his compatriots. But will the combined might of an inquisitor, an interrogator, a military veteran, and an unsanctioned psyker be enough to save the Emperor? Find out next in the final episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
Alve Imperator. Lucius Valentyne.
Hey, I know him.
We know him.
You are on Terra, mere steps from the base of the golden throne upon which sits the immortal emperor dreaming dark dreams of the warp, humanity's last hope, and of course guiding all those who seek to find their way. Terra has been invaded through the efforts of the shattered cabal by Necron forces teleported directly into the palace, distracting attacks throughout the galaxy, be it the Chaos Uprising on Cadia, the Orcish Wars occurring around the outer rim of the Sol system, the Tau fleet that has been Trojan horsed in by the traitor Johanna Crix, and of course the Necron army raised by the Crimson Thatch themselves. You have made it past all these perils. You have destroyed the demon Pandora, for now. You have put down the heretic Octavius Blackhand and his Second Inquisition. You have freed former colleagues from their prisons. You have sent others to the Emperor with haste. Now you stand here in this holiest of holy sites, the Emperor's last hope, against a band of Orcish space marines willing to do what Horus and his band could not. What do you do?
Valentyne knows a little about Orcish psychology, but not a lot. Tom, there are undoubtedly tapestries and hanging pieces of cloth and battle banners and all this stuff around. Is there a blue one / is there one with the Ultramarines on it or their symbol upon it?
How old? The Ultramarines were...
Ultramarines are first founded. They're one of the original 20.
Then yes, there absolutely is, but it's ancient. But yes, 100%.
That doesn't matter. Valentyne walks over and tears it off the wall, and he says, Atticus, wrap this around yourself. Everyone, I know very little about orc psychology. At the same time, I know enough that we can make a play here. It's going to be desperate, and it's going to be challenging. Bobby Gilliman is the biggest orc. That's how the system works. The most powerful have to stay in place. They can be challenged, and they will accept a challenge. I'm sure you are familiar with some of this, Atticus.
Yes, sir.
Bobby Gilliman believes that he is the prime orc because he cannot defeat a prime arc. However, Bobby Gilliman is terrified, undoubtedly, of Rebute Gilliman, who is known for wearing blue, who is known for having a golden power fist, who is an Imperial hero and is undoubtedly and must be smaller than him, which means we have a brief chance to get in there and issue a challenge. Rebute Gilliman, he says, pointing to Atticus, who's wrapping himself in a flag, versus their champion. Atticus, I believe that you can do this. I believe you have enough dedication. I believe you would give your life for the throne, but most importantly, you would fight for the throne. I also have a weapon to give you for your offhand. And he gives you the Crozius Arcanum. Ooh. This was carried by the sons of Sanguinius, Atticus. That arm was carried by, now, a hero of the Imperium. Now it is not just your arm. Now you are not just the Emperor's fist. Now that is the Emperor's fist. You are no longer Colonel Atticus Viss. For the sake of this, you are Rebute Gilliman. But more importantly, Atticus, we have gone a long time where you've denied your sainthood, where you've denied your faith. This is your make or break, soldier. I can help you, perhaps, get in to make this challenge, and then I need you to win it.
I will.
Everyone else, we're the retinue. And he's just going to launch Eugene into the air since he's heard orc stuff yelled, just cranking Eugene to max. And he's like, I apologize. I don't speak fluent orc, but I picked up a little over my travels.
Oi, Bobby Gillimon. You think you're so big? Well, turns out the real Bob Gillimon's here, and he's challenging you for a fight over the boys. So you want to get a real scrap with a real blue, then you're gonna have to prove yourself.
Get a deception check, please. Against Bobby Gilliman, prime orc stats.
Oh my god.
This is 3 red.
Okay.
Can I give you a boost for speaking orc? Gonna give you another boost for the fact that you were on Terra. So saying Brute Gilliman is here is very reasonable. He's around somewhere.
They must be.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm going to give you a boost for the fact that it's projected through Eugene. I just think there's something about putting it on a loudspeaker that would deeply appeal to
and
orcs.
it's a threat, because if he ignores a direct challenge, all the boys hear the challenge, then there'd be little question markies.
Yeah, 100%. Like, they don't know what the Horse Heresy is, but they do know they could kill the Prime Orc and become the Prime Orc, so... You know?
It's prime.
They're going to cross the Rubicon in their own way.
There can be only one.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to spend story points.
So am I.
Okay.
We have to.
Yee! Oh my god, this roll.
What's the pool looking like there?
Right now, it is 3 yellow, 3 blue, 3 red, 1 purple.
That's closer than I'd like it to be. That's tight.
It's tight.
Anybody else have any ideas? I'm pitching it out to the rest of the party in case they've got a way
What
to...
does Atticus know about orcs that he could aid with this? Because he's fought them for X many years on Vicodin, but I mean, he basically nailed it as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
All righty.
Gideon has never seen or heard
And
of
Morgan
an orc.
has never seen or heard an orc either.
That's true. All right, fuck it. 3 success, 2 advantage.
Yo.
The
Beautiful.
the
Go.
gamble. The big gamble.
It was never in question. The Emperor wants it.
All right. Well, I think that's a safe passive boost to quote the real Rabute Gilliman.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oi, ain't you, Bobby?
Just you almost see him just scooch Eugene over to you to do yelling.
Yeah, and he'll like grab Eugene, like just yell at the back of Eugene's head, like into a conch, kind of just like.
Who's asking? Me, Bobby Gilliman, the Prime Orc.
Never heard of you.
That's because you're stupid.
and you hear like oh from the orc boys.
Well, I'm here. Where are you? You must be too tiny to see.
And then I was going to say, Valentyne waves the other 2 forwards and holds Eugene down so we can like, gives it back.
Rabble.
Watermelon.
Okay.
We look so confused.
And
Played along.
improbably, the least of us, Jeffrey, grabs one of the smaller banners on a stick, and having never known what to do, knows what to do now, and holding the ultramarine banner in front of him, just starts shuffling forward down the hall alone.
Valentyne will push Atticus in front,
he's
and he
walking
will join, just get the other 3 in line with him behind Atticus, but he will make everyone crouch. So Atticus is a little taller than
We look
us, so an
bigger.
orc
You gotta
looking
get
will be
low.
like, that's the one who's in charge.
Yep. We're doing the crouch walk.
So Gilliman is also known for his flaming sword. Gideon, do you want to roll
Oh, yeah.
a
I was
I was going to
psyker
say,
check to see if
Valentine,
you
I
can
was
light
thinking of
up?
saying that when we got closer, but
Oh,
I
sorry.
no,
You do it. You're
No,
the
I'm like,
player.
we can do it here. Gideon, Rabute Gilliman is known for a flaming sword and a bit of a halo. If you could do that and enhance Atticus or protect him, that would be excellent.
Say no more, Inquisitor.
So we'll call this a barrier,
Yeah.
I think.
Sure.
Counted as a barrier.
Focus.
I think he gets behind Atticus and he like helps him like adjust the little blue thing, and then he goes and grabs your little robot hand and squeezes it to no effect, and he goes, well, you know what I mean. And then he gives you a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes for advantage.
Holy
Hot
shit.
damn.
So if it is a barrier too, you would have an extra 8 soak.
And all you have to do is take a maneuver every turn to concentrate, and it stays up.
Oh my god.
So we're oh my! Even Valentyne has a moment of surprise at the level
And
of heat
Morgan-
coming
This
off
like
of this
warp fire halo bursts over his head.
Morgan's like, he really is a saint, isn't he?
thing. I stopped questioning it.
I think quietly, because Gideon is close to provide this from the healing and from like exploding 2 people on the Titan and stuff like that. Atticus, this is one of the kindest things he can say to someone. I don't know if you'll understand it in the context, but he'll just say, "Thank you for burning the weakness from me."
Aw, I think Gideon gets a little, like, you see him kind of take a second. He goes, it's the least I could do. There was not much to burn. And he just puts it back together and sends you on your way.
Yeah.
That's the new ship. Forget the Duke.
Oh, fuck yeah. This is the real Grievous ship.
Atticus, you can regain 2 strain.
Oh, okay.
I think you say that as a kindness, but also you kind of believe it. And I think you're wrapped in, even though of course you would never deign to say that you're Guilliman, but like having wrapped in a symbol of the Imperium, wielding, a holy icon wreathed in psychic fire, like you're tired, you're badly injured, even though it's healed up, like the pain still throbs in your back. But this is as close to,
He never sought any of this. It was all bestowed upon him. So he just feels immensely blessed and honored. Like it is not like, he's
great. So as a retinue, you move forward following your icon bearer, Jeffrey, and round the corner, you realize that the entryway to the Golden Throne is almost a bisected octagon. So you kind of come along one edge.
an octagon.
No, you're outside the octagon. Outside the octagon. No. It'd be an orctagon if we're doing that. No, we're not. This is weirdly a non-exciting space because you're literally in like essentially almost the outer landing of this large space. So an octagon bisected from at least the wall, you can see it goes much deeper, obviously. But so you come around, it's not like a sharp edge; it's kind of a rounded edge. And where you encounter these orcs is standing over a dead custodes. Just on this edge, so just kind of in a corner of this small area outside. So for a duel, honestly, pretty perfect. Not a lot of cover, because again, no one should be here. This is not a space meant to be seen or touched by or approached by anyone. And it's also in a weird way, just kind of architecturally, a necessity to counterbalance the space. It has been dolled up, but it is all the pomp and circumstances outside, and then obviously in the much larger chambers beyond where the Emperor lives. It's not like you open the door and there's just stairs and he's like at the top of them or anything. There's a whole fucking thing. I've seen the models. It's beautiful.
Oh, there's like a 5-kilometer walk. There's a psychic wall. There's shit. There's a lot of shit.
There's shit in there. But this is the outer like egg, basically, like the
The antechamber.
The antechamber. Yes, exactly right. But you find yourself in like, a corner of the outside of the antechamber. But there is also, I think, for you, Atticus, something appropriate to that, which that this isn't, Horus on the steps. This is just fighting orcs in a hallway.
Yeah. Where is he? It's on site. I'm ready. Let's go.
So you come around to see, as described, a bunch of orcs wearing pieces of either power armor or armor that has been crafted to look like power armor. Obviously, it is not powered the way Space Marine power armor is, but it's like they've cracked the egg off dead Marines and like strapped it on and are wearing it. It honestly looks like Blood Bowl models a little bit, if anyone's familiar with that game. But they have done a real serious job of this. This isn't half-assed. They do not consider themselves a joke. They have found a way to turn these suits of armor into functional armor, and they're big enough. These are all like knob-sized orcs, so they're big enough to wear it and mean it. Bobby Gilliman, the Prime Orc, is in a full cyborg body, so massive metallic body with a giant gripping claw, and another hand that's got a gun on the wrist. It is like a child drew and colored with crayons Rabute Gilliman's armor. So it's got like the Aquila like painted on. He's got the ultramarine logos. He's done his best. For all of us who played Warhammer since we were far too young to actually do it correctly, like this is the badly painted, a little bit customized model that kind of looks like shit.
Yeah, the Warboss has one crossed eye.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you didn't water down the paint, so he's all goopy in places. But again, there's no similar to you and how you live your life. Like he even just like at sight and the way he's been talking about it, you can tell there is no irony or winking to this. He has the same conviction in it that you do. And he beholds this scene with his own little like band of like painted on flame halo. And he's not so big, kind of small.
I'm getting bigger because I'm getting closer because I'm running at him.
And he says, right, for the chapter then. He's going to open fire with his slug at you as you charge him.
Okay.
So what is your range defense?
4.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe we're doing a Gilliman on Gilliman cage match for the
Seeing
win.
double.
4 Gillimans.
Yeah. Valentyne is also pleased because in his plans within plans, this is all good. He'd love to win here. This is great. More importantly, it is more time. This fucking army of mega armored orcs are not walking through that door.
This whole encounter was built around the idea of having to, like, Jackie Chan trying to save important relics, of, like, just having to fucking keep the orcs off the door. But now you've challenged them for the control of the chapter. So, like, got to sort this shit out first, then we'll go crush an emperor. It's good.
Whose army is this?
All right. So, Atticus, your defense is... I'm sorry, you said 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, defense 4. He's got a shooter, so they are inaccurate. So, that gives it an additional setback. You're running at him. So, I'm going to say difficulty 2. I'm going to add 1 more to give myself auto fire if it goes through. So, I've got 2 yellow, 3 green, 3 purple, and 5 black. I'm going to give you 1 more boost to you, setback to me, for being wreathed in holy flame. I think, like, it's one thing to be like, I can beat anyone in arm wrestling, and then a guy just, like, bursts into flame. It's like, no, that's a little much. As you just bash Jeffrey out of the way, and he just bounces, like, falls over the same way, just the classic spin turn. But he's so proud.
I was going to say, Valentyne catches the standard because the orcs will have seen what Marines do in combat to keep these things up.
All right, I'm just gonna roll this. This is so fucking bad. But hey, 1 success, 2 threat.
All right.
So the damage, Atticus, it's damage 9 plus 1, so 10.
And you have endowed me with
8 additional soak.
Additional soak. The rounds just burn up like in the atmosphere of
And he's
planet Atticus.
He's like, thank God. I mean, the Emperor. It is you. Big grin. As he just continues, like, merrily firing bullets into your shield, just, like, kind of in awe, kind of excited. And then for the 2 threat, we'll just say the gun runs dry. So he just flips it off his wrist.
Okay.
And drops into, like, I'm imagining just, like, at this size with the claw, it's a bit of a, like a big grappler stance.
You want to wrestle?
Yeah, kind of, but it's, like, with a power claw. So it's, like, one hand to kind of, like, try and move you around, and then the big, when I say power claw, these are the orcish equivalent of power fists. So this is just like on a construction, like a demolition machine.
Right.
It's that side, like just a big fucking honking claw that he has, of course, painted to look like a power fist. So it's got like the little like ultramarine logo.
Finger lines on it?
Yeah, exactly. Like a bad animation. All right, that's his round. And yeah, the threat also fucks his maneuver. So I'm going to say gun runs dry, but also he's not able to move. He's just like, ready. Which means
choo-choo.
Your round, buddy. So he has defense of 2.
Okay. Yes. I'm assuming adversary of some kind.
Oh, yes. So that is, he's got adversary 3.
So we're calling that 2 reds and a purple as per usual with melee combat?
Yep.
Can I learn a little bit about the Crozius Arcanum?
So the Crozius Arcanum is a power weapon traditionally. It depends on which chapter, because some of them just use it like a real heavy mace. But it can be a very nasty power weapon.
Okay. You know what I think I'm going to say then is rather than fucking around with dual wielding and a bunch of things that we've literally need
Yeah.
to.
Weapon fighting, yeah.
Oh, I mean, okay, if you've got it, we can do it. But what I was going to suggest is that we instead just restore your power fist stats and imply that fighting with both of these.
Yes, that's acceptable. So,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
that's
hell
fine.
yeah.
Whatever
I was
you
going to
prefer,
pitch that
yeah.
for a story point. So, yeah, if you want to do that, great.
Yeah. I think the idea would just be that like the power fist is still the power fist. The Crochet Arcana is still like you're not used to swinging this weird mace around, but having two power weapons
Right.
gives you the benefit of
Within the flames, the distortion field having slain a demon comes to life, and it's just thumping fist and power weapon mace in the offhand.
Oh man, I fucking love the visual
So
of just like
fucking
Atticus
cool.
running in with these things.
Okay.
Saintly,
So
I say.
saintly.
So I want to make sure I understand. The Crocus Arcanum has endowed me with stats and abilities equal to the power fist
Yes.
that I had.
So the
Okay.
equivalent of
And-
throwing a punch with this thing and then like slamming him in the side with the crochet is going to give you the same effect as punching with your old power fist.
Okay.
So just give yourself the original power fist stats, fight like you normally would.
And the Duke's arm is then incorporated into that
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
just
offer
flavor.
as well.
what
Got
I'm
it.
saying is
Okay.
your two weapons give you the benefit of what your original weapon was, and
Okay.
we'll just roll it like your original weapon.
But you can describe it like two weapons.
Please do.
Yeah.
Oh, please do.
Yes, I have a thing in mind if I hit him. We'll see.
And do me a favor and take 2 boost left over from the
Thank you.
Yeah,
just
baby.
floating around.
If you want me to do you that favor, you can ask me to do you that favor anytime. I can definitely do
The
it for
like barrier fire slowly wraps around the arm and the arcana as he runs in.
you. All right, he's ready for me. Like he's not intimidated or anything. So I think this is just
We do have one story.
One story point.
one story point.
Saint Atticus.
I'll spend one to update.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. There we
Fucking
go.
do it.
There we go.
I don't want no half
There we
measures.
go. Yeah.
So we've been talking about pools now for a
Yes.
while. So I'll let you guys know it's 4 yellow, 2 green, 2 blue, 3 red, and 2 black.
Good thing you don't have Perils of the Warp, or this would be real
Well,
sketchy.
well, yeah. I mean, let's see how many
Come on,
despairs I
baby.
roll.
Come on.
He has perils of the flesh.
I have 3 successes and 1 advantage.
Ooh.
Damn, sir. Okay.
What's your damage at?
So then that's 20 damage.
Pierce 4.
Pierce 4.
Hell yeah.
Ka-chonk.
Not even close to killing this guy, but a nice start.
Truly. Okay, so sorry. Pierce 4. How much damage?
20.
Hot diggity
We
damn.
like 20 damage.
Again,
More. Okay.
I would say, knowing that the orcs are undoubtedly cheering from the other side, I think Valentyne at this point is like, get him! Yes, you can do it! Like, he's just as hyped on this side of the battlefield as the other side.
Yeah. And because this is like a one-on-one fight and not like active like battlefield combat, and I think Atticus inherently understands that like with all the pageantry going on, there might be value in like trash talking as well. I'm going to spend the 1 advantage on Sunder. 1 to activate. And because it's only 1 advantage, it does minor damage to the weapon.
Okay.
I can spend advantage further to do moderate, major, and then destroy it. As I understand Sunder.
Yeah, so just bashing away on his
So
arm.
it's just a little notch on the belt towards destroying his power claw.
Okay.
Atticus will, if it's flavored as 2 weapons, he's going to. He's never wielded a Crocus Arcanum. Like no one ever does. It's like yeah. So he's just gonna be. Like he reveres it, and it's clearly very powerful. But also, he only knows like one way to fight. He's going to. It's not bladed, but it does have like a
the
a shape
aquila on
to
the
it at
edge,
end.
all of its edges are
Yeah.
bladed.
Oh,
so
they
you
are
can
bladed.
swing
Okay.
it like almost an axe if you want to.
Well, I mean, I think Bobby Gillen's probably pretty tough. Atticus is going to fishhook him with the end of the Crocus and just kind of pull his head down into the ground and then start just wailing on his face with his other hand. And just between beatings, he's going to say, looking at like the armor that he's like put on himself, he's like, I'm going to beat the blasphemy off you and then I'm going to go to work.
Fuck yeah. All right. So
beat
Sound
the
hits.
blasphemy, and then
Yes.
once that's out of the way.
And I think the minor damage is just like as you're punching, just reaching forward, ripping the ultramarine insignia that he'd painted on the back of the hand, just ripping that off. Like it doesn't deal any damage to the claw, but it's just like you don't deserve to. It's depatching someone who isn't in the biker gang, right? Just like, all right. He doesn't have a cool retort to that because you're punching him repeatedly in the face with a power fist. So he's just gonna roar and go, "Wah, the Emperor!" And take a big old swing. Oof. Your defense up close?
2.
A
little scarier. Mm-hmm. But as I understand it, the soak is still
just Gideon. That's all he's doing is just warp fire coming out of the side of his mask.
ridiculous.
Okay. So I've got 4 yellow, 1 green, 2 purple, 2 black. Okay. Is there anything, anyone else? Fuck it, I'll spend a story point to upgrade.
I'll spend 1 as well.
Okay.
We'll keep it at 1-4.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Okay, so that's 6 yellow, 1 red, 1 purple, 2 black.
Ouch.
I'll give you 1 more black for the fire, being wreathed in holy fire. Again, I think it's like it's scary fighting the a hero of legend. It's exciting, but it's also scary. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see. Holy shit. That, my friends, is 5 advantage. No success.
I feel so bad for him.
No way!
That's just too bad.
He fucking missed.
Oh no! Oh,
Dilla's dying.
I was leaning purely on the soak that you gave me. That is crazy.
All right.
Holy shit.
So he whiffs it, just like claw goes, just like you're up close, you're pummeling him, you're climbing on top of him, you fish hook him. Claw goes out, just like catches the banner, and just kind of like comes off of that. It gets caught in the claw, and he shreds it, but it's just like stuck in the claw. He's got to get it, shake it off.
Yeah.
But as you're kind of distracted with that, he is going to grab your metal hand and twist, and just bends the gears and like snaps a control thing. So your smaller robotic hand spasms. And he is going to, he's an orc, grab the Crozier Arcanum with his teeth and just spit it out to the side, and it goes scattering away. So he's my 3 to disarm you.
Okay.
Which would drop your attack until you pick it up.
Yeah.
And I will add a setback to your next check.
Okay.
It's my remaining 2.
So I have a setback here.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
So for the rest of us, there's the ongoing warp fire from Gideon. Valentyne is going to look to Morgan, having seen this occur. This is every mural on every church in the galaxy, and the real Gilliman is in the same pose as Atticus, the world's tiniest man holding down an orc 5 times his size, just punching it in the face over and over again while ripping off blasphemous symbols. He's going to say,
Morgan is zipping up her whole suit and going invisible.
Morgan, don't interfere, but more importantly, I need you to pray out loud right now.
Morgan was like, I'm going to go sneak over there. And then it's like, she zips it back down. Like, oh, it could have just magically gone over there. Watching this punching and everything happening. All right. Emperor, please listen to our call for you. We're here to protect you, and please watch over your Saint Atticus. Please, Emperor, we pray to you.
Gideon,
I was going to say, and Valentyne, I guess if this is going to be related to the prayer, do that first. Valentine's got a different play he's making.
Gideon, I don't think you would pray to the Emperor necessarily, but you do seem to be team like encouraging Atticus. What would Gideon's like encouraging schoolyard fight?
I think most of his focus is being consumed in just like funneling warp energy to him. but I think he remembers the stuff that Orogoth was saying. And as in a brief second where he kind of comes to, he yells out, "This is your purpose, Atticus! Use it!"
Amazing.
Valentyne is going to keep Eugene active. Valentyne is a guy who studies the people around him. And he studies the places they've been because he's very bad at figuring out people's motivations. And even though Atticus is tremendously loyal, he did study the glorious regals and the regiment and its history and any songs. And there was one song that was sung in the camps. Because any Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum regiment, they all have camps where people's families live, where they're just general businesses. And they're kind of these childlike songs that come from war songs originally and then can kind of get picked up and changed over time to be simpler. And he found one that that Atticus had been disciplined for singing one time. Basically, he was on shift and he sang a song to himself.
So excited, I dropped my chair.
But he had been disciplined for singing this song one time. And Valentyne, it just comes back to him. So he starts singing it. And it plays over Eugene for Atticus to hear. And it's just, he's the emperor, emperor of light. He's shining in the darkness of the night. Hope for this world. And the imperium of man. Touch the heart of everyone. Kill every orc you can.
So as you're readying your attacks and everything else, you're just like wailing away on this guy. All of this is going on. The rest of the orcs don't really know what to do with this because also they're all like, they all want to be space marines. So like a few of them start singing with you. And one of them's like, "Oh, what you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing it for all guy, but space marines." And they're like, "Oh, space marines, yeah." Emperor's good, but not this one.
I was going to say, and Valentyne realizes as the orcs sing, some of them will undoubtedly get distracted and just repeat the words he's doing. So he's just going to loop that shit to get orcs singing along with him. Because it's like anyone singing a prayer song to the Emperor here feels like it's on the right side.
And Atticus, as you ready your attack, one final kind of word of encouragement comes through from an unexpected place, the mouth of Bobby Gilman, the Primarch himself. As you're punching and pounding on him, he spits the Arcanum away. He hears all of this. He hears his guys kind of singing for your guys. He does get that this is a problem, but there's nothing to do. And he goes, "Oh, this is bullshit." And you feel the spirit of Marty Schwarzenegger. Because he is an orc, and he thinks this is bullshit. Go ahead and put your rolls together.
All right.
I'm going to give you a boost for encouragement from Gideon. I'm going to give you a boost for prayer from Morgan. And I'm going to give you a boost for this.
Oh, wow.
This song that Father Marcellus used to sing in the camps much later. He couldn't get disciplined for it, though, because he was kind of an outcast anyway. But that Valentyne has brought back with you. And I'm going to give you a boost for Martin Schwarzenberger. Just hearing
that should be four boosts.
Yeah, I got one more. I must have missed one. Thank you.
Then I'm going to spend a story point.
And so
jack it up.
So will we.
What you got?
Come on.
4 yellows, 2 greens, 4 blues versus 3 reds and a black.
Oh, no.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 advantages.
Well,
So 6 on top of the 13 from the regular thing is 19. Pierce 3. Is there more to this guy? Are we
what's
still
your crit, baby?
Yeah, it's crit 2, so that's why.
Let's see those crits.
Go back to
All
crit.
right, so that's what, 3 crits? If I spend 2
6,
each?
Yep, 3 crits. All right, first one.
25.
25. He's off balance, so add a setback to his next skill check. But the next one's plus 10.
85 for 95.
Becomes a 95. He's at the brink. The target suffers 2 strain each time they perform an action. This one's plus 20.
The final one for this turn. 34.
That will take you to 44 to 54, which is a fearsome wound. The target increases the difficulty of all presence and willpower checks until it's healed, if the target is still alive.
Yeah.
Well, Atticus, you knock him off balance. You grab his jaw, crank it down. You've already killed some Space Marines. This is your first time killing a Primarch. How does he go down?
I think again because it's important to have the show kind of thing. I think I'm gonna I don't know why it's mouth stuff against this guy, but it's just his hand goes in and grabs him by like the roof of his mouth, and he drags him across the floor over to the Crozius. And he'll say he'll shout out to all the whole gathered crowd of these orcs and say like, next time, don't send a grot to fight Rabute Gilliman. And he's going to just dig the thing into his neck and just keep chopping until the weight of the body drops and he holds this head by the top of its mouth.
And the orcs are just kind of like in awe.
And he just throws the head into the crowd.
And they look at it, look at you, and then a number of things happen simultaneously. They turn and start to book it to where I don't know. And there's a flash of fire in the distance and thunderous footsteps as a figure emerges running full tilt towards them and you. And again, Atticus, it's been a long day. So, if there's another thing you got to punch to death, fine. And a flaming blade slices through these orcs as they run away. And only one of them has enough presence of mind as, 2 steps behind his fellows, a little slower at running, to go, "Oi, weren't you over?" And then gets hacked in half. As Rabute Gilliman strides forward, kind of blade raised, and kind of looking like in like a steer like rage, but also a little bit of confusion.
Yeah.
At like
Valentyne's gonna say, "Everyone else, please kneel. Gideon, drop it."
Whatever the fuck is happening here.
Yeah.
And hearing that, he'll turn to you, Valentyne, and just say, "I assume it is your voice that has been broadcast throughout Terra today."
Refractor field off. Correct. I'm Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne.
Indeed. Are there any other threats to the throne at this moment?
If the Orcs and the Necrons have been eliminated, the Crimson Thatch chapter, I believe, is primarily based on Mars, and the corrupted Astra Militarum and Tau are in orbit. I don't believe there is anything else, unless somehow magically Sandor Rafferty and or Nikos Manta survived an entire room full of Scorpex and general Necron chicanery.
Do you have the coordinates for that building?
Done and done. Transfer that over. Data slate out. Whoop, done.
Looks at his flaming sword, like flips it around, sticks it in the ground, and just says,
Valentyne just offer him the slate.
"Thank you. Strangely, I have become rather good at bureaucracy of late." And he just like taps a comm and says, "Orbital strikes on the following locations," and just like lists off everywhere you've indicated. It takes a minute. And again, like he wasn't kidding about the administrative piece. He has to literally just stand there for a second, taking reports, muttering things. He's doing a bit of the like you're on hold thing. He's deeply uncomfortable with everything that's happening right now. He doesn't know if he has to execute all of you yet, but this seems like a higher priority. And he turns back and says, "It would seem that the Astra Militarum ship is under the control of one Commander Sharp, I believe, an associate of yours."
Correct, he's with me.
"The corrupted commander of that ship is dead. The base, you said, held the Necrons, Sandor Rafferty, and this Adeptus Mechanicus, Nikos Manta, has been leveled. The Necron threat is slowly but surely being turned back. The important thing," he points behind him, is like, "was that. And it would seem that," like looking at Atticus
isn't looking at him. Atticus is like on both knees. He's hold the Crozius Arcanum aloft and head down.
Yeah, I mean, Gilliman understands the value of the Crozius Arcanum, but also for him, this is like, that's cute. Like, nice one, I guess. He looks down and says, "This man, wreathed in fire, seems to have ended that threat rather handily. The rest of these people we will track down in due time. But, Inquisitor, you have caused quite a stir. The allegations you have broadcast are quite something. We must regain control of Terra and of Mars, but then you and I must have words. In the meantime, you," like looks down at Atticus, "rise."
He will, but he does not know what's happening. These are like the angels that he has been
this
told
is like
about.
an archangel standing over the other angels.
It is so overwhelming to look at a Primarch.
Yeah,
They give off the whole vibe is godly, otherworldly. They're too attractive. They're too perfect. Most people can't talk. A lot of people can't even hang on to their mental faculties. They just do what they're told and later try to put it back together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
would
he's
say-
still not looking. But
Yeah,
he will.
Morgan would, once he showed up and Valentyne said kneel, she kneeled, but she is kneeled and cowered and is curled over her own knees. This is nightmare fuel for her.
I think Gideon tried to sneak a peek and then went momentarily blind. And it's just like blinking hard, trying to get himself together.
Yep, fair reactions.
Valentyne is standing at militarily ramrod straight, at ease with his hands in front of him so they are visible. He's got robotic eyes, which helps limit some of the other thing. Plus, he's just unshakable, and the Inquisition does not bow to this man. Mm-hmm. The Inquisition works for the big guy.
He'd have to begrudgingly respect that. He doesn't want any more godly status than he already has. It deeply bums him out. So anyway,
that is also why Valentyne has not mentioned that Atticus is a saint.
Yeah, 100%. So he looks down at Atticus, and I know you're not looking up at him. And says, "The stories of the Imperium are rich with heroes, legends, primarchs such as myself, Adeptus Astartes, saints, Adeptus Sororitas, all manner of heroes. I can see from your bearing, you are one of the least of these. Frontline soldier, I would assume."
Nod.
There are not enough stories about the heroism and bravery of people such as you. People who are not gifted with gene seeds or genetics, power armor. Just people who do the right thing in the name of the Emperor, in the name of the Imperium of Man. The Emperor is lucky to have you amongst his servants." And then he's just going to turn briefly to you, Valentyne, and say, "I must see to the rest of the Necron threat. We shall speak soon."
I would hate to presume, my lord, but I did ensure that my messages were sent out on, shall we say, controlled comms. This entire thing can be easily deleted from the annals of the Imperium. The only thing that I would dare waste your time with further is to know that man's name. That is Colonel Atticus Viss.
Colonel Atticus Viss, hardly an appropriate rank for such actions. We will fix that. Picks up the blade, says, "And yes, to your earlier point, Inquisitor, this will be scrubbed. We must do what must be done. I would, however, have a record of this for the Inquisition's files. I would have you explain this to me in detail, and I shall explain it to a separate member of the Inquisition for the records. I think it would be important to have it filtered somewhat. Don't you agree?"
Yes, I would be happy to report this to you, and then once we are done, with your permission, I will continue on this quest or another of your choosing.
Yes, we will speak of that. If the heretical doings you have mentioned indeed occurred, as your message seems to indicate, there's likely more threat to be stamped out. But if I may be blunt, in these extraordinary circumstances, there are matters with which I cannot sully my hands. Your hands are filthy with heresy. It would seem that makes you the man for the job. Good work, Inquisitor. We will speak soon. Picks up the sword, flips it back around, says, "And the rest of you. He may have killed the orc, but I suspect you all helped." And he just storms off down the hall and just disappears into the shadows. Like, just fucking evaporates into a hallway and is gone. All of you stand near the
Just
golden
cowering.
throne.
Atticus hasn't
The
moved,
Primarch having left.
Yeah.
This, friends, is how inquisitorial missions often come to an end. A sudden close. The quarry over. Defeated, or so it seems, though, if given permission, I will pursue the tendrils of this conspiracy to the end. There are no thanks. This story will be gone. No one will be aware anywhere in the Imperium that this happened, and at the same time, it did. Colonel,
Yes, sir.
I can't give you a medal. The Inquisition doesn't do that. There's no point in pinning a medal to someone for a reward or an action that can never be acknowledged. However, Rabute Gilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, now knows your name, and he shall until his dying day.
Give me a second. Atticus makes a noise. Hang on. Just like,
Yes, sir.
he will shakily hand the Crozius back to you.
I believe that's yours.
Yes, sir.
And he needs to sit down, like, on his butt.
And you can sit there for a moment, but it must also be acknowledged. Atticus Vis, the only people who have stood in this palace between the Golden Throne and an army that opposes them are the Adeptus Custodes. And the only people who did that and stood against enemy champions were the Primarchs of the Imperium. You stand amongst the greatest heroes that have ever defended this galaxy and this species. Excellent work, Colonel.
And he stands again. At that, like, he has the strength in his legs again to stand.
Thank you, sir.
Gideon, Mr. Vega. It may seem inappropriate that we're having this discussion right now, but I fear if we leave this room without explicit permission, the Adeptus Custodes may murder us.
Correct.
We have no clearance to be anywhere. The only reason we're still alive is on the remittance of the Primarch who had walked into this room and walked out. They will tell us where to go, and it will be non-negotiable. I've made a note in everything that I have sent, including the information that has been passed on to the Primarch, that you have the Inquisition sanction. But the question that has been asked of you for a long time, and now we come to the end of it, is, what is your purpose, Gideon Vega? What is your deepest desire?
I think in the short time that I have known all of you, I have learned so much about myself and about this grim environment with which we live, and I feel my purpose may seem so small on such a grand scale, but I feel that my purpose is to protect the people I care about. And I look forward to fulfilling that purpose every day.
And who do you care about, Gideon Vega?
Right now, just the three of you.
Excellent. I will see that you train with the Scholastica Psycana. They're highest level pyromancers. I'm not really interested in you going through all of the rigmarole of the basics, but just someone to help you hone the raw power that you have. You have a gift for burning heretics, Mr. Vega. One that many people in this Imperium would believe was some kind of grim malady that was darkly fascinating you into the distance, which would be true of any psyker except those sanctioned by the Inquisition. Your gift is the Emperor's gift, and you will use it many, many times.
I look forward to that opportunity.
Morgan Rolls, can I speak to you in the corner?
Morgan is shakily getting herself up. She looks pale. That was a lot for her. But she's going, yes, Inquisitor, and follow you into a corner.
Again, this may seem hurried, but at the same time, I do not know for how long we will be separated, or if at the end of this, the Primarch may determine that I am guilty of some petty crime and have me executed. I don't believe that you will be wasted in that regard, but anything is possible. The question I asked you some time ago, mere hours, but it feels like years, in the Black Library. Mm-hmm. Why do you think I named you as my interrogator? If you answer that you have not been thinking about it because we've been very busy, I'm going to be thoroughly disappointed.
No, I've been thinking about it, Inquisitor Valentyne. I think that I wish to learn to ask more good questions, but it seems that you wish to teach someone else to walk in the way of the Inquisition the way that you do.
Interesting. Yes and no. You are similar to me in some ways, Morgan Rawls. You have many of the same gifts and many of the same faults, but at the same time, I was, for lack of a better term, born this way. You have the same gifted deficiencies that I do, but those were hammered into you by the arch-enemy, by yourself, by the brutality of life. What that means is, unlike me, you have the chance to actually inspire people, to lead them, to regain communication with your humanity at great cost, and to be able to use that to become the hero of the Imperium that I cannot be. You remind me of Eugene Morgan Rawls. Just in a different timeline. Different choices were made. Become those things, Morgan Rawls, and greatness is ahead of you.
I do hope we get to work together again in the future after all of this, because I have a lot to learn, but thank you for all that you have done for me and opened my eyes to see it was the Emperor laying a path for me all along, and I will not squander this opportunity.
Yes, he will take everything from you, but he will give you great purpose. Turns back to the rest of the room. No one knows where we're going from here. It's entirely up to the Primarch, and his needs and priorities are very separate than ours. We could be separated for years. We could be rejoined again tomorrow. Say your greetings and goodbyes. The custodians will likely separate us when we leave this room.
Atticus will turn to Gideon and say,
I owe you thanks once again. Once again, your holy fire protected me and burned away any of my weakness.
And Gideon will just say, I don't know how much came from me and how much came from you, but I feel like maybe we met in the middle. I feel like you earn the titles that you now wear.
Titles aside, my understanding is that you and I are somewhat equal under the interrogator and the inquisitor. And a certain kinship is often formed on the battlefield amongst soldiers of a similar rank. I would consider you a brother of mine, Gideon Vega.
he'll put his hand out for another handhold, but like a, yeah.
And then Gideon, like, you see him go, and he just gives you a hug.
Like,
I think he just like blows by the hand and he just gives you a hug.
Yeah, and it's like a little stun, but then puts the arms around him.
Morgan will come up next to Gideon on the other side after waiting patiently for the hug to be done.
Yeah, we'll break
and turn to Gideon. Lord Vega, you have done incredibly admirably. You are made of so much stronger stuff than most in Greybridge, though it appears a few good eggs have fallen from that awful heretical nest. I'm glad that you were able to find some purpose and power, and I hope that we will talk again in the future.
I hope that as well. I could not have done this without the small kindnesses you showed me along the way. I will miss seeing you tremendously if this is the case.
I appreciate that, and I'm still working at showing those small kindnesses, but thank you for being who you are and letting me see it more clearly.
He goes and gives you a hug too. I know this is not. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, all right. And she gives you like little hair pets, like meow, 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 meow. You get a little bit of the experience that she gives sometimes.
Yep. And then he breaks off and he goes to give Valentyne a hug, and then he waits and he pulls back and he goes, I have very much enjoyed learning under you, Inquisitor.
Well, thank you, Gideon. That's very kind. Do you want a hug,
Yes, please.
Step forward. He will hug you.
Yeah, a very stiff. Like Gideon tries to get in there, and it's like, ooh.
You can tell it's there, and it's a hug that lasts exactly 7 seconds, and then there are 2 back pats, and then he releases you.
That was less fulfilling than I hoped.
Would you like another?
No, that's okay. Thank you, though. That means a lot.
Moria will turn to Atticus.
Yeah.
It has been an honor fighting alongside you, Colonel Atticus Viss.
The honor was all mine, interrogator. For quite some time, I feel we operated independently of one another.
We may have operated independently, but I have watched you from the beginning. I was trying for a while to figure out what exactly Valentyne saw in you specifically, and it was made abundantly clear over and over. And your humble looks and beginnings, and you have risen up above all of those things to become quite an impressive imperial specimen. And I look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thank you. And for what it's worth, it's extremely clear why he chose you for interrogator. There are things you can do, all this praise you have for me, there are things you can do I simply cannot. And I hope that's not lost on you the way I'm told it's sometimes lost on me.
Yes, I suppose both of us need to accept those things.
Well, if you're watching, I look forward to meeting your expectations.
And I look forward to doing more training so that I might be more capable in close combat such as you.
Well, if you're offering, I would be happy to train with you. And if you thought you could teach me a trick or two about lying to someone and getting them to do what you want them to do without, breaking their arm, I could see that being quite useful.
I think we have things to talk about in the future, though. You truly are a natural, after all, Duke.
Well, thank you.
It's a natural talent of yours.
Well, I look forward to many future conversations.
As do I.
Colonel, there's one final thing that I need to say to you, and you alone. When my report is filed, you may be borrowed by the Adeptus Ministorum for some time. For testing, examination, conversation, etc. You have my solemn oath that at the end of that time you will be returned to the Inquisition and or the Astra Militarum. Whether or not they say you are a saint, I tell you, Colonel Atticus Viss, you are an Inquisition saint, unquestionably.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you, sir. If I may have a moment to speak freely with you, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I was unwittingly relegated to a backwater planet, fighting a strange dead-end war, sir. A war not meant to be won, a war meant to just grind on and on and on. And you plucked me out of that, sir, and gave me the purpose that I thought I was serving. You gave me the opportunity to truly serve the Emperor the way I always wanted to, sir. And I will be forever grateful to you for that. I accept humbly your appointment to inquisitorial sainthood, but you will always be my commanding officer.
I may be something more than that.
Oh?
It turns out you can learn as much from an interrogator as you teach them. It's an interesting question, Atticus Viss. If one makes all of the choices and displays all of the behaviors that would suggest that one is a person's friend, even though one feels none of the prerequisite emotions that are supposed to be behind those choices, are you really their friend?
I don't know, sir. I ain't got no friends.
And that's exactly the answer. The question doesn't matter. You and I are not just inquisitorial servants, Atticus. We are friends.
We are?
Yes.
When did that happen?
I believe gradually over time and ultimately by accident.
Oh. Do you like that?
I don't very much like anything, but ultimately I think it must have been intended by the Emperor, and it must be very good.
Oh, it must be good then, yes, sir.
Exactly, it's a good day. Friend.
Yes, sir, friend, sir.
And with that, custodians just fucking swarm in. And as Valentyne predicted, you are swept away to various interrogations. There's a lot of procedure, and this is a proper clusterfuck in the history of the Imperium. Anything that touches Terra, big bad news. And as quickly as it happened, records begin to disappear. Rumors are quelled rather aggressively. New stories are spun. And gradually, the memory from all those who weren't here, just myth, rumor, and heresy, as far as last gleaming stories appear of perhaps a rogue inquisitor and his band saving the Emperor, perhaps Rabute Gilliman facing down enemies at the foot of the Emperor's throne, perhaps the Emperor himself striking down his enemies with holy fury. But all of you know the truth, and after several conversations with the Primarch, Rabute Gilliman knows the truth as well. And slowly but surely, he unfolds it to Inquisitor Temperance Price, adding records to the Inquisition's Black Library, its own little corner of the study of chaos and corruption. The name Pandora enters the lexicon, to be redacted immediately everywhere except in the deepest, darkest annals of Imperial record. Valentyne, based on your actions and what has occurred, you are very, very thoroughly debriefed and interrogated. However, the end result, per the Primarch's direct request, is that you are to be left in his care and that all cases on you are to be sealed, closed, and rapidly forgotten. With this, you gain access to additional information from around the Imperium. You're able to confirm the death of Wilhelm Roach, who, as you always suspected, was just a very, very small cog in a very large machine. You're able to pass along the names you received of the various aspirants to be Lords of Terra, who just mysteriously disappear in a single day, whose names are rubbed from history and forgotten. And after all this is done, you're given a room in which to sleep. The Primarch has demanded your presence to begin to set up future operations, future inquisitions that you can investigate and instigate on your own, under your own power, to solve the problems that Rabute Gilliman certainly cannot. And so you find yourself oddly in a small room, a military-grade bed, because anything more would be deeply uncomfortable to you, and exhausted, you finally fall into a deep sleep. And one final vision crosses your mind. A vision of a static, unmoving stairwell, a golden throne, a body that seems not to be moving, plugged into a variety of cords and cables, sitting, undisturbed, unbothered. The Emperor on his golden throne is safe for a time. And that is reason to hope. And so ends the Valentyne Heresy.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Josh Halbot, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Alarain Okapi, Madre de Gatos, Mithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dia de los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Mickey Blake, Seth Cambron, Corpse Knight Silver, Adamir 101, The Dankler, Anticore 7, Lady Destiny Stormbringer, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.